Hello, my name is Namit, and today we are going to talk about operators in Python. There are 7 different operators in Python: exponents, modulo, interdivision, division, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. The first one we have are exponents. Exponents are denoted by 2 asterisks. For example, when we want to say 5 to the power of 2 in Python, we would write 5 asterisk 2. When we print this out, we would get 25. The next one we have is the modulus. The modulus is denoted by a percent sign. Now, what the modulus does is divides the two numbers and takes the remainder. So for example, let's divide 5 by 2. We would get 2.5. But what the modulus would do is output 1. Now, because 5 divided by 2 is 2, then we would only have a remainder of 1. And this means that the answer would be 1. Another thing that is cool about the modulus is that when we have a small number in front of a larger number, the answer will be the smaller number. So let's say we have 3 modulus 95. In this case, we would get an answer of 3 because the small number is always the answer when it's in front of the larger number. Next, we have interdivision, which is another type of division, except it rounds down the answer. So let's say we do 7 divided by 2. Normally, we would get 3.5. However, using interdivision, we would get 3 because it rounds down 3.5 to 3. No matter the number, it will always round down unless it is a float. When we use a float instead of an integer, we're going to get 3.0. Though it will round down, it will still have the 0.0. This happens with any float number. Any of these operations, when we use them on floats, they will output a float number. Even though it rounds down, it still has the 0.0, which denotes it as a float. Next, we have division and multiplication. The division, as we had mentioned before, is denoted by a slash. Simply, we do 4 divided by 2, and we would get 2. Multiplication, on the other hand, uses an asterisk, just like exponentiation. For example, we're going to print 5 times 6, and we would get 30. Right here. 30. Now next, we have addition and subtraction. These are pretty simple. All we have to do is either put 6 plus 5, which uses addition, which is a plus sign, or 6 minus 5, which uses a minus sign for subtraction. Both of them are pretty simple. They use the same things as normal math. There's something called an order of operations that you may have heard in math class, but this also applies in Python. The order of operations states that exponents come first, then all the divisions plus multiplication, and finally addition and subtraction. So for example, when we have 5 divided by 2 to the power of 2, rather than getting 5 divided by 2 to the power of 2, which in this case would only come to 2 to the power of 2, which would be 4, this would be 5 divided by 4, which would be 1. This is how the order of operations work. However, if we had parentheses, then we would get 4, because the parentheses always comes in top of all these operators. So if we have parentheses, then the answer would be 4, but since we didn't have parentheses at the start, we would get an answer of 1. However, we don't always use numbers when we use these operators. We also use string concatenation and string replication when we use operators. So what do those two terms mean? String concatenation means we are combining two different strings. So for example, we can say, let's say number 1 or string 1 is equal to hello, and string 2 is equal to world, and we can print stir1 plus stir2, and we would get hello world. This is an example of string concatenation. We can also use the comma, which then would not require a space because it will auto-space by itself. But when we are using string concatenation, it will combine both of these words without making any space. So we'll just say hello world without any space, which is why when you're using string concatenation, you need to remind yourself to add a space before your second word. Now what string replication does is that rather than having two strings two strings multiplied by each other, we use an integer with a string. So let's say we want more of these hellos. Rather than just one hello, we want 10 hellos. Let's say we want 10 hellos. Well, we can just multiply 10 by stir of 1, and we would get 10 hellos. This is called string replication, and this uses the asterisk symbol, just like multiplication and exponents. Well, that's all for operators. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you again.